Thank you, David. So good morning and welcome to the Unitarian Church of Staten Island, to those attending in person and for those who are attending online. We greet you all. Have you had seen or read in our posts and blasts, we have rescheduled Rabbi Howell, a welcome guest here often in our pulpit, to return on another date due to the shocking events this week in Israel and Palestine. And those events, unfortunately, remind me of the world is too much with us. Some days the world is just too much with us, which was actually a poem by William Wordsworth. The world is too much with us late and soon. Getting and spending, we lay waste our powers. Little we see in nature that is ours. We have given our hearts away, a sordid boon. This sea that bears her bosom to the moon, the winds that will be howling at all hours, and are upgathered now like sleeping flowers. For this, for everything, we are out of tune. It moves us not. Great God, I'd rather be a pagan, suckled in a creed outworn. So might I, standing on this pleasant lea, have glimpses that would make me less forlorn. Have sight of Proteus rising from the sea, or hear old Triton blow his wreathed horn. So today we've chosen to use our sanctuary as a place of sanctuary in times of overwhelming need such as this. People have often come to their churches, their houses of worship, just as a place to be, to sit in silence, to sit in solace, to sit in community. And so that's what we've chosen to do with this particular Sunday. As you can see in today's order of service, we will set aside time for reflection, supported by music from David Jones, Eric Michaels, and John Michaels, interspersed with some quiet time for some meditation. And today's day is going to go something like this. There will be 3 musical interludes of about 10 minutes each. Each will be followed by a 4-minute interval of silent meditation, contemplation, prayerful thought, whatever works for you. The first musical set will feature David Jones at the piano. Then there will be a 4-minute interval for meditation, quiet time. Eric and John Michaels will play violin in the second set, followed by a 4-minute interval. Then David will finish with 10 minutes at the piano. We will end with extinguishing a chalice, a closing benediction, and of course, hospitality for some conversation in the parish hall. We certainly remind you to silence anything that you have with you that beeps or makes any kind of noise whatsoever. So this would be a fabulous moment for you to do that. And we're reminded that this isn't performance. This is music that's supporting our quiet time, our reflection, our meditation. So I would ask you to do your best to refrain from applause. And a final note from our visiting minister, Ember Kelly's weekly reflection seemed appropriate to share at this time, if you haven't seen it already in your weekly newsletter. And Ember says, and in that pain, I think there is a tendency to quickly look for an answer. In the age of sound bites, we try to digest a complicated and painful situation down to an easy explanation. Or perhaps in a quick answer, we justify violence as a response to violence. And sometimes we run from paying attention at all, fleeing the pain that conflict makes us feel. That's why when I read in the statement from UUA President, you'll see that in your order of service, and Ruth is going to share that with you later. I was particularly moved, Emma goes on to say, I was particularly moved by her choice of opening. Reverend Dr. Sophia Betancourt invites us to, quote, to stop what you are doing, if you can, and all sit with her, with me, in the depth of this tragedy. How to reconcile the cost of occupation and of war. It appears to be the question for the time we are in right now. I'll move on to lighting the chalice, one of our regular traditions. And as you'll note in the order of service, we are foregoing the normal elements that are in our order of service for today. So we can light the chalice. If you'll join me in the affirmation you'll find in the order of service. We light this chalice in the search for truth and the spirit of love. We unite in worship and fellowship. And it's been our practice, we light 3 additional candles to usually Sunday by Sunday recognize the impact that police brutality has had on too many of our citizens. And today I think that we should certainly acknowledge police brutality and our sure desire to have it come to an end, but we can also include in our additional candle lighting the violence that's going on anywhere in the globe. And I'm going to invite Robin to move on to a reading you'll find in your order of service.
Good morning, everyone. This is a poem written by Jewish American poet Michelle Shubin, who supports Palestinian rights. It's called Both Sides of the Fence. When I witness crimes against each other, words fail me. When I watch the good bleed out and soak the heels of a young man's boots, words fail me. When I see generations hate on each other, claiming land that belongs to neither, words fail me. When I am asked to describe how I feel about the land I was taught to love and now despair, words fail me. When I watch the plume of artillery rise over the schoolyard and smother the desert with its smoldering plague, words fail me. When I silently whisper the Shema over the graves of a mother and her stroller, words fail me. When I watch the rubble smolder as Gazans burn, feeling shame and relief, words fail me. When I see hearts turn into bullets and helmets lean into battle and forgiveness lays dead at my feet, words fail me. When I hear the wail of my ancestors next to the cries of Allah, why? Words fail me. When I watch our fear bow to the promise of the Iron Dome and hubris reigns free over the land of milk and honey, words fail me. Words fail me. Words fail me. Words fail me. Until we grieve our hardness, we plant our palms, we share our harvest, we till each other's dirt until we stand on both sides of the fence. Words will fail me.
our thanks to David and Eric and John for softening the silence with some very beautiful music. Times like this, it certainly provides us some comfort, so we thank you for sharing that with us today. So we'll now extinguish our chalice. Please join me. You'll find the affirmation in your order of service. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. For these we carry in our hearts until we are together again. And now Robin will give us some closing words.
This is a statement from UU President Reverend Dr. Sophia Betancourt regarding the conflict between Israel and Hamas, which she made public on October 7th, 2023. Beloveds, I invite you to stop what you are doing if you can, and sit with me in the depth of this tragedy. How to reconcile the cost of occupation and of war. How to nuance two very real histories of oppression and violence. I am holding close the words of UN Middle East peace envoy Tor Wennesland, who said, "This is a dangerous precipice, and I appeal to all to pull back from the brink." We, as a people of faith, can condemn violence against civilians while at the same time engaging the full legacies and histories of oppression that shape each devastating conflict. As a faith tradition, Unitarian Universalists have long worked for peace, and our principles and values call for the goal of world community with peace, liberty, and justice for all. At the same time, we have not engaged the tangled issues surrounding Israel-Palestine in community since 2018. And our last engagement resulted in severed relationships and deep pain. I pray for the people of Israel and Palestine. I pray for leaders around the globe who must respond to this latest flare of violence and the untenable ethical considerations that abound. I pray for Muslim and Jewish UUs who experience the impact of this long strife acutely. I pray that those of us less likely to know the trauma of unending brutality and harm will not turn away from generational loss, from the devastating realities and their root causes, or from the relentless tragedy of war and occupation. Be gentle with yourselves when you need to be, but do not turn away unless you must. We are one global family, living tenuously on the same human-impacted earth. Let us center ourselves in justice as we call for peace.
So ends our service. Thank you to everyone who was here today. And we, as is our tradition, we have hospitality in the parish hall. So come on.